KKHT wants you to meet three of the classiest guys in real estate.
I am Chris Kelso, the maestro of mortgage.
I am Rob Cook, the godfather of real estate.
And I'm Joe Orsack, the king of credit swing. And together, we're
the Real Estate Rat Pack.
Much like us, real estate right now is smoking hot. So whether it's buying, selling, or owning, you need to check out the Real Estate Rat Pack.
They're here to take your calls and answer your questions live. Call now, 1-800-808-5548. And now, the Real Estate Rat Pack.
Yeah.
Every week it's the same thing.
I'm recruiting Chris because he's been sneaking in on that action too. Now Rob just cringes.
I know Rob cringes
time.
every time.
Saturday.
We have to get him into it. He's got to start doing the same
You know,
thing.
we have to have some modicum of decorum, and
Why?
I'm not sure, but anyway.
Who said anything about decorum?
Yes,
What is
Rob.
decorum anyway?
Yeah.
That was Rob's word.
What is
Yes,
it?
yes.
He rented it from the library.
Yes,
It's gotta
I
be back
did.
on Tuesday.
I have to have it back by Tuesday, exactly. So we got a pretty good show today, but you know what? I want to talk about a garage sale that we're having this week. The Rat Pack is a big part of that. We had a dear friend of ours who had $25,000 stolen from their house out in Katy. And
Might have seen it on the news.
Might have seen it on the news. It was interviewed, and actually they apprehended 7 of the 8 that were the perpetrators. So
No way! I did not even know that.
I found that out last night. But what it did, that was their money to operate their business, their home, everything. That was all their money. So what we're trying to do is make them whole again. And we set up a garage sale out at my office, the Berkshire Hathaway office, Anderson Properties, out at 741 East 11th Street.
Right in the Heights.
Right in the Heights. It's at Studewood and 11th. Easy to find, right across from Ruggles Green. Please invoice Ruggles Green, would you?
Yes.
And it's going to start at, according to Ben Wood, now tell me what's his name again, the one that did the Grand Slam garage sales.
Grand Slam garage sales.
Weisenstein, yes. We had him on the show, a guy that's been featured on national news, local news, and most importantly, the Real Estate Rat Pack show.
That's when he really broke.
That's
out.
when he really broke loose. But he's going to help us with this. And he's going to actually give us a reduced amount of what he's going to do to charge us. I've got the pods. People have donated a pod.
Hop on Facebook.com/Real Estate Rat Pack.
So what I'm asking, if anyone,
that.
you know, spring cleaning is right around the corner. I mean, we're most of the way through January now. You know, so let's get an early start. All that stuff you've been promising that you're going to get rid of, get it together. We actually have a team of people standing by with trucks. They'll come pick up your big items. And in fact, if you've got a lot of items, we'll come by and pick it up. Even if it's a lot of small items, we'll come get it.
And let me tell you, it's for a great cause. It's, for a sad situation of somebody getting their house robbed. It's never something someone wants to go through right there.
These are the kind of folks
yes.
that we've all known them for a good while now. They're hard working. They're everything that I love about America. They're a young couple that are trying to build a business, create jobs, and improve our economy. And they've had something happen to them that I absolutely loathe. It is the lowest of low. A thief is the lowest of low to me. To steal what other people have
I've got
worked
one
hard
lower
for.
than that, but we won't.
Yeah. there are some more, but I won't mention those
Yes.
on air. But anyway, they're wonderful, wonderful people. We've known them for a long time. This is not someone that we're detached from. It's someone that we know personally, and we know
continue
their character.
to do business with them. And again, we love the entrepreneurship.
Yes.
So please go to Facebook.com/Real Estate Rat Pack. We have all kind of details up there. They also have a GoFundMe site that you can donate to. We will make sure that we have a link up there for that as well.
Do we have a link up, or do we?
I'm not sure if we have it up on
Okay.
the Rat Pack, but we will after today.
So anyway, I want to start with that.
Yes.
So that's kind of a lead into our first guest. And Greg, now tell me, it's Swedberg. Is that right? If I get it correct this time?
Yeah, it's
okay.
Greg
Well, what
Swedberg.
in the world are we talking about today?
Well, what do we need to talk about anything? We just kind of, we actually do better on the breaks when we're just kind of chit chatting. Why don't we just do a chit chat? Actually,
we can talk about current events if that's
current events.
Well, okay, we
Don't get me started.
Don't get started on that. Anyway, Greg is the
I'm not
owner of Two Scale Architecture. Is that correct?
yeah.
Make sure I get all this right. And you do a lot of work in the Heights. And where else are you working right now?
Man, we are building, designing houses all over town where people are spending money in all of the hot markets. Majority of our business is inside the loop, but we have several projects in Memorial, a couple projects out in Sugarland, Westview, Bel Air, Garden Oaks, all the hot neighborhoods where people want something unique and creative. That's where our clients are coming from.
Let's do a little mini biography here. Let's kind of dial back the Wayback Machine and go back. What got you interested in architecture, and where did it start?
Wow, the short version is when I was a little kid, I believe I was in third grade, I figured out that architecture was the thing for me. And all of my old friends from the way back machine actually kind of despised me because I decided I wanted to be an architect and never wavered. The fireman and astronaut thing never happened. So I'm living the dream.
Excellent.
For our listeners' benefit, the subject today that we want to talk about, and they might have already started cluing in with an architect on the show here, but we're talking about what's involved when you want to build your own home. And we've got some serious expertise here today on that front. Decorators, architects, custom home builders. So any of you guys out there that have questions in
decorators
that
would
line.
probably be an offense. It's designer.
Designer. Oh, my
So,
gosh.
let's
Slap
see.
me.
Yes.
That's why she was giving me the evil eye over
Yeah.
here.
It's
And-
not a decorator, to
and
be
she's
clear, because
got
I've
red hair.
already been through this.
She's got red hair, and I've heard those people can be fiery, so I better watch
yes,
out.
And you're sitting right next to
I
her.
know. I'm within
right.
arm's
Be
length.
warned.
Your shoulder kind of flinched there for a second. but,
Anyhow, so that's what we're going to talk about today. Well, that's good.
So, and as we're all what? Huh?
Architecture.
Tangent.
We
Architecture.
Shiny metal object.
Yes, yeah. Squirrel.
800-808-5548 if you want to talk about designing your own home. We've got all kind of expertise to cover that today. So there's the subject.
So often the first thing that people do is say, well, I want to design a home. They're going to come to you. How do you start that process with them?
Well, a lot of times we got to make sure that their expectations are realistic. So we're talking about budget. We're talking about what quality of home they're looking. Is this a starter home, a move up home, a vacation home? A lot of our clients now are looking at what we're calling forever homes, which is a home that they plan on gracefully going into their senior years in. So that type of home is a lot different than the home that somebody's looking to, start a family or raise a family. So there's some very key sort of decisions that families need to make on the early end when they're interviewing with us.
Well, navigate us through the process. I mean, you can do it kind of your Reader's Digest version, but navigate through the process where you start, probably do some preliminary things and come back to him and say, this is what it looks like, and then
Reader's
go with that.
Digest version, so at the end, just give us your favorite recipe.
What's Reader's Digest?
Oh, wow.
I'm kidding.
Wow.
I'm kidding.
You have to forgive Rob. He's seasoned.
I'm seasoned.
So people need to have a piece of property. Some people will say, well, just design me a house and then I'll find a piece of property to put it on. And it really doesn't work that way. Houston is such a sort of bifurcated neighborhood collection
He's
where
gonna
you've
get that
got
back on
Word
Wednesday.
back on Tuesday.
where you've got different
Weekend
deed
rental.
restrictions, different sort of limitations with pieces of property. So we like clients to have their own tract of land that they're going to. Now that could be a tear down. We'll help people work with tearing down a piece of property that maybe is dilapidated. But then we come up with a design concept, which is sort of their wish list and their goals and how that relates to their budget. And then we grow it from cute and fun sketches into something that's really that is ready to be going to the city for permitting and for the builder to appropriately price. That process can take as little as 2 months. It can take as long as a year in some instances. But for the most part, our clients are spending about 4 months in this preliminary design, going from not having a clue to having something that's ready to get built.
So do you have some like off-the-shelf type of plans that people will elect to use, or they're all custom?
Our business model doesn't work in that way. We're all custom. So we feel that every design should be appropriate for that piece of property, appropriate for that user. And we address whether it's a 5-year goal, a 10-year goal. How does this home shape somebody's life? And it's something as simple as how many bedrooms, but it can also be, how are you keeping an eye on the kids when you're in the kitchen? Or if the husband is working late at night, is the noise that he's making disrupting the kids who are trying to sleep? Or how do we get to the second floor if I have a bad hip that gets blown out in a couple years? So there's a lot of custom issues that come into play, and we make sure our houses address every one of them.
So you basically going to ask them about their lifestyles a lot, because we talked about this a lot. We've had some of the production builders on the show, and we've all kind of decided that we're not selling homes anymore. We're selling lifestyles. And so you address what their lifestyle is. I'm up late at night. We need to do this. We need.
Yeah, a lot of the discussions in the early on is not necessarily what their lifestyle is now, but it's really what do you want the lifestyle to be? Where do you see yourself in the next year? Because some people will say, oh, well, that's good because it's better than what I've got now. But maybe just being a little bit better than what you have now isn't enough. Maybe we really need to be addressing, like you said, those lifestyle goals. And I think the built environment, at least with with good architecture does a good job of that.
Now, I've always been able to read architectural plans, and I can actually see the things 3D, but I know a lot of people are more linear type thinkers, and they see what they see. How do you kind of paint that picture of what this is going to look like when it's completed?
Wow, that's a really good question. We often...
That's why Rob makes the big bucks. I was going to ask you what your favorite color was.
I'm an architect, so of course I'm an architect. Of course, it's black, right? I actually don't think I'm wearing any black today. I'm out of uniform. I've always sort of hung my hat on my ability to sketch, and I think a lot of my non-visual clients respond well to perspective sketches, to the little doodles that express design in a tangible way earlier than when we actually have something that's concrete.
And at what point can you actually kind of put a number to what they're building? That's probably one of the first questions they're going to. How much is it going to cost me?
Yeah, that's true. Well, because of our experience, we're able to have the discussions about what kind of amenities you want. You know, are you a Vic and Anthony's type of taste, or are you a Wendy's
McDonald's
type
budget,
of taste?
yeah.
Or whatever your flavor is.
What is do you have like a typical price point that kind of you see where it's below this point? It doesn't make I shouldn't say it doesn't make sense to have an architect, but do you see a typical price point that people come in at where they start employing your services?
That's a great question. If there are clients, yeah,
well, you wrote that one down.
You
for
get
me,
a gold.
so.
You get a gold star. If there are clients that are looking to build a house, the construction budget is about $300,000 or up.
Okay.
There's usually enough money in the kitty to hire an architect. I
promise you, my wife is taking notes.
I'll back up to hire, not necessarily to hire an architect, but to hire us. Let's say.
Well, you don't understand. We have a running joke about Joe and Kim is always at home listening, and we always work on Joe on the air to get him to buy her a new house. So we always try to work it in somewhere.
I initiated that one because they work it in every Saturday, no matter what. So.
Well, we also do a lot of large-scale remodels. I wouldn't necessarily say the $300,000 benchmark applies for remodels. We do things in the $100,000 and $200,000 work. So it's more than just switching some cabinets or adding some paint. But we're talking to clients in Garden Oaks and Oak Forest. You're seeing a lot of strong remodel work in those neighborhoods where we're adding floors or adding rooms or reconfiguring spaces. And so we're seeing a lot of budget-savvy clients making some good design decisions, fixing up some 40s and 50s houses around the city, which I appreciate.
Very cool.
This is what you call dead air. Question, so.
Well, one thing I'm going to tell you, I'm looking on your website. Obviously, you've got 2 scale ARCH, Art for Architects, I would imagine. Great website, a lot of neat designs you've done around the area, and more importantly is I was reading that you are a Houston native. You graduated from the University of Houston. Let us know. I mean, most people don't realize University of Houston has one of the best architecture schools in the nation. Is that correct?
I like to think so. I'm not sure the critics think so, but it's a great school. There's only a small handful of architecture schools in the state of Texas. So
the music's playing real quick. I want to make sure you have a chance to give out your number. How to get people get hold of you?
The best way would be go to the website, as he mentioned, 2scalearch.com. That's the number 2, scalearch.com. Or reach us at 713-623-1222. We'll be glad to talk to anybody. If they're thinking about maybe an architect is an appropriate route for them to go with their next project, we'd love to at least talk to them and see if it's a good fit.
Outstanding. Well, stick around because we're going to have an open session at the last break, so we want to make sure we have the time to ask you some more questions.
We'll be right back.
Awesome. Thank you.
Like an ocean wave that's bumped on the shore.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Rat Pack Radio Show with Chris, Joe, and Rob. The crew is taking your calls, so dial in at 1-800-808-5548.
I'm a marketing guy.
And welcome back to the Real Estate Rat Pack Show, man. It is such
We're
a
having
good
an
time to
entire
be here that
conversation
the
off
whole
air.
conversation is going on, and we are live on air. You know that,
We're
right?
trying to
We're discussing business cards
Yeah,
over here.
we're trying to educate Joe over here.
The
about
marketing guy and the very schooled with multiple, what's it called? Accreditations behind her name here.
Designations, yeah.
Right.
Alphabetical letters in strange orders behind her name. This design expert over here and I were discussing the fineries of business cards. So
Well, and the great
Very
thing
important
is,
stuff.
this is a show very important for you, Joe, because it's all about designing a new home. It's about building a new home. Extremely important show. So
Yes.
not only do you get to listen to it, but you get to experience it today.
I would not be surprised if my wife called in on this show.
We are
She
waiting for your
texts
phone
us
call.
during the show with questions already. So
That is
she's
great.
a
We know
motivated buyer.
our next guest up is
Me, not
right
so much.
along what we talked about in reference to designing a home. Our next guest, I don't want to mispronounce your last name, by the way, but you have,
We gave you a hint.
yes, exactly.
Janine Nuzzi.
Janine Nuzzi.
That's right.
That rhymes
With
with fuzzy.
Gabriel Home Builders. How you doing today?
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you very much for being on board.
Absolutely. I'm having fun.
Let us know a little bit about Gabriel Home Builders, by the way. One of the things that we always like to do is introduce, especially we talk about this, some of our home builders, some of our local, regional, custom home builders that we see out there that we don't hear about a lot. So great opportunity to do so.
Thank you. I started the company in 1998.
I'm sorry, cheesy question. What was the inspiration for the name Gabriel Home Designs?
That is my grandfather's name. He was not a builder, but I picked up his name. Just popped into my head when I was trying to. Long story, actually, but
It's a special name to me. I love that name.
I do too. Thank you. It's
Gabriel. Anytime God had a message to deliver, He sent Gabriel.
He did. And when I was thinking about it, my grandfather, it was as if he was in the back seat of my car saying, Gabriel's got to be the name. So that's
Outstanding.
what I went with.
I love communication and delivering, messages, thus being on a radio show. And so Gabriel's kind of a special character to me in Scripture. But anyway, nothing to do with anything. I was just curious about where you got the name from.
Back to the late 90s.
Meanwhile, back to our show.
The late 90s, 98 I started. No, I actually used to work for builders out in Sugar Land. I was a new home salesperson, and while I worked for them, I bought my first home. We won't say how long ago that was.
5 years ago.
That's right. And decided to renovate it and asked them, can I use some of the subcontractors that you guys use? And they let me do that. And I renovated my first home in the Heights and just started from there. Loved it, loved the creativity of it and the whole idea of building. And so in 98, I formed the company after I sold new homes for 10 years and broke away from that and just started from there. And here we are.
So when did you get your degree in counseling?
First selling new homes, you'd get really good at it.
Yeah, some of our most interesting conversations are prior to the show and during the breaks, and we talked about how stressful it can be for a couple to go through the home building process. It can be very stressful, and so we were talking about what that looks like, and so you might want to kind of address some of that.
What we try to do to help alleviate a little bit of that is try to set the client's expectations along the way, because there's so many unknowns for the clients. I mean, budget, what's it going to look like? I didn't expect it to be like that. This is smaller than I thought. I mean, the list goes on. So what we really try to do when we get started with the client is set the expectations, and we really do like to pair up with the architect early on in the process so that we have the same understanding as the architect does of what the client's vision is. And when we know that going in, then it's easier for us to help them budget along the way and to continue to set their expectations in terms of just continuing to create their vision and making sure it happens.
What is, since we're all kind of on this theme, even off air, what is the biggest point of contention? Is there an area that tends to be the most stressful or something? If somebody's out there, a couple's out there saying, I think we really want to design a home. If there was an area that was more contentious than any other, would there be one when it comes to the whole process of building?
I think probably two things. One is staying in budget, and the other is that they understand that it is what they wanted, that it looks like, because they don't have the vision. People think linear, like you mentioned, and So it's, pairing up with the architect and helping them understand what it's going to look like and that it is in your budget. Because a lot of times what can happen is if the builder is brought in too late in the process and we're asked at the very end of the process to price this home for us, and they had these expectations of it's going to cost $500, and when we get done pricing it out, it's $600 or $700, then at that point they're what can we do to get back down to where we need to be?
Where can we find $100,000 of savings?
Make it smaller.
That's right.
Downscale. We don't really need cabinets. Just lay the granite on the floor.
Give us a shelf space and an air conditioner. That's all we need. But that's typical. I think it does shock people a lot of times because material costs have gone up pretty exponentially in the last year and a half or so because of the demand for new construction materials.
That's right. They have. And labor costs are going up because there is a labor shortage of good people. So all those things are affecting price.
So what do you tell somebody who said, I'm thinking about building a new for myself, get exactly what I want, or I might be looking at the resale market? What's that conversation look like?
I think they should go explore all options. I think it's really important because when they build a home, it's a big commitment. It's, 3 months to a year with an architect, another year with us. And so it's really important that they're sure that this is what they want to do. And so
this may be a question for the architect, I don't know, but in the process of building, when you're going back and forth, or like the situation you described, I'm thinking, okay, number one, subject of contention, budget. They meet with the architect. They come up with their dream home. They argue back and forth about all the fineries, and now they've got it. They come to you, and they're like, holy cow, it's $100,000 over budget, right?
Right.
Is it common then that you're working with the architect or back and forth there to, where can we, in essence, find $100,000 to make this house happen? Is that a common scenario that you find?
It probably 50-50.
Wow.
That's why I like to get involved in the beginning so that we can work with the architect and the client. We can make some material suggestions so that we're still maintaining their vision and just work together as a team to get them where they want to be and find that 100,000.
So would it make sense then, I'm trying to think of the flow from, the person out there's listening is genuinely considering, hey, I want to build a custom home. It makes sense then to come to you as the custom builder as the first step, to then involve the architect from there so that you guys can kind of work in tandem together to keep that budget in line with what the couple would have in mind. Or I shouldn't couple, anybody.
It can happen both ways, and oftentimes architects will come to us once they've initially met the client, and they'll bring us into the team and say, we'd like you to, work with this client and maybe do some preliminary budgeting for them before we get to final design to make sure that we're in the price point that they want to be. So oftentimes a good architect or a lot of architects will bring us or a custom builder in early in the process.
What I like to say is it's not going to do anybody any good if I draw them the Taj Mahal and then they don't want to spend the money it takes to build the Taj Mahal.
Right.
So I have to echo what Janine says, and bringing in an architect that appreciates having the builder insight on the front end so that expectations stay level is key to this being a successful process. Where I was, and I lost my train of thought, so never mind.
How connected?
Well, that's actually a common theme when I'm counseling people.
What, losing your thought?
Losing your train of thought.
Yeah, that's because I'm seasoned. But bringing
He had a seasoned
expectations,
moment.
expectations and reality together,
Right.
That's right.
is a huge piece in any type of real estate. It's because people do get a notion that, I'm going to be able to get this, and they have this great vision. They've been to some completed homes and things like that, and see all this wonderful finish and things like that. Go, yeah, that's what I want. And they find out what it costs, and they go, maybe not.
Put on the brakes.
Well, now one question I've got, in reference to Gabriel Home Builders. Let's say I see a home of yours and I really love it. It's absolutely gorgeous. And I want to build a home with you. Do you have any let's say, standard specs that you can build out, or any type of standard, or is everything done via an architectural firm, such as my buddy over here? How does that sort of work?
Everything that we do is pretty customized. Now, we do have some, based on a client's budget and what they're looking for and what their vision is, we do have some recommendations and suggestions and some sort of standards to help get them there. But for the most part, finishes, design, style, that's customized and generally together with an architect on what it's going to look like at the end of the day.
Gotcha. 'Cause I was looking at your website, GabrielHomebuilders.com. Some incredible homes that you've built. I mean, absolutely gorgeous homes. I encourage everybody, if you're out there and you're looking at getting some fresh ideas, we've had 2 websites so far given out, but Gabriel Home Builders is who we're speaking with right now. Phenomenal website, great portfolio of both new construction and renovations that you've done out there. What are you seeing more of right now? Are you seeing more people going in and renovating their existing properties? Or are you seeing a lot of individuals going out there and saying, I'm doing a lifestyle change, I'm going to build a new home from scratch, as we were talking about earlier, and really building for the future, whether it be a new home or or existing? What are you seeing more of right now?
That is a great question, because we are seeing a lot of both. We really are. I mean, it's hard for me to say what I'm seeing more of. A lot of people are asking us, what should we do? Should we renovate our home because there's a lot of value? There's value in our property. So should we tear it down and build, or should we stay here and renovate it? So that's something that we try to help the client decide and figure out, cost-wise, budget-wise, what works better, how much it'll cost to renovate and compared to build.
And I can imagine, and a lot of times we're seeing a lot of individuals who have their home, it's paid off, it's free and clear. They want to stay where they're at, but they want a new lifestyle. They want a new home. And so, we're seeing a lot of those changes. And I think it's important, and I'm always a big believer also in renovation just as much as new construction. We are going to be coming up against a break right now. How can we reach you if you don't mind?
You can reach me on my website at GabrielHomebuilders.com, or you can give me a call at 713-861-8613.
That is Gabriel Home Builders. She's going to stick around because, remember, we have our last segment, which we get to ask questions of everybody, and it's our open round. But stay tuned. We're going on a break right now. We'll be right back.
And that's a recipe for making love. It doesn't need sugar.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Rat Pack Radio Show with Chris, Joe, and Rob. The crew is taking your calls, so dial in at 1-800-808-5548.
And welcome back to the Real Estate Rat Pack Show. Time flies when you're having fun. We're already on the second half.
It's incredible.
It's flying so fast, we don't even notice that the breaks have ended.
We don't. We just go right through it.
Chatting.
And Mike's sitting over there going, guys, you're on air. Yes. Mics are live.
I think we're Mike's favorite, but he has to keep us in line.
We don't do enough shout-outs, but, I think the one shout-out we do need to give is to Mike, who is here in the studio with us. I mean, he makes this happen.
Mike.
Every week for us, and we really appreciate that, Mike.
And, we also do a shout-out to Jason Jimenez, who happens to be in the studio, and he is responsible for our guests being here today. Say hello.
That is correct. Jason, come over here.
Job.
Tell everybody, one of the things that we always do is Jason is a great contributor to the show, a great sponsor to the show. And so we actually told Jason, you know what? You're so good, and you're so great at what you do, and we like you so much. Make a show for us. What inspired you to make this show?
It was all around the area of bringing good people together that actually genuinely work together. They know each other. They believe in the aspect of what's good for the client. And at the end of the day, they're people that I work with almost on a weekly basis, and I see all the time. And it was an opportunity for me to expand an opportunity that I had to take care of my friends.
That is awesome.
So far
Jason
they're doing a
Jimenez
fantastic
Insurance.
job, so
And
we
they
might
actually
let you pick again.
all seem to like each other. So, yeah, we're going to let you do the theme.
And let me tell you, if you're out there and you're in the market for any type of insurance, give Jason a call. I use him personally, but an absolutely incredible individual, and his staff over there at Jason Jimenez Insurance is incredible.
I was going to say, tell him what he does.
Yes.
The designer only hit me once, so I'm okay.
Well, she's being polite because she doesn't know you well. Anyway, this would be a good time for an introduction if you're going to do it.
I was going to let you do it, Rob,
okay,
but I can do it if you want to.
Well, with Pamela Hope Designs, we have Pamela O'Brien. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, guys.
And we were having a discussion about the difference between a designer and decorator on the break. And, of course, Joe immediately got his foot in his mouth, and I helped to extricate that.
Well, What is
Talk
the difference?
about the difference between.
You know, it has changed. Theoretically or historically, in order to call yourself an interior designer, you had to have a 4-year interior design degree. The world of design has changed. Television has a lot to do with that. Media has a lot to do with it. So it's really used very much interchangeably. But ultimately, if you have a 4-year design degree, you do more. You can do some drawings, renderings, and you do more architectural work. Not at a full architect level, but more architectural work. Decorating tends to be more surfaces and colors and more of the fun finishing.
Now, you've got some alphabet after your name, and of course, I see one that I recognize as probably one of the most prestigious, which is the ASID. You also have IDS and IRN. Could you address each of those?
Yes, there's the Interior Design Society, there's the Interior Redecorators Network, and then ASID is the primary accrediting organization for designers. And you can become an ASID member through education, through experience, through course taking, CEUs. We've got the continuing education. It's a great organization.
So now, Kim's wife, Joe's wife, Kim, to get this correct, comes to you, and they've already got with Greg, and they already got with Janine, and now, when did they come?
You see what he's doing there, babe? You see that?
Yeah.
You see how that just happened?
I can't wait to meet Kim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really think he had it right though when he said Kim's wife Joe. Is
Yeah. I was clear on that. I knew what he meant.
You see how this is a Christian station, Rob.
I was clear on that.
I'm just trying to get the roles correct here.
It's interesting. I can come in at a number of points of entry. It can be sometimes I have clients where I know them, or they may even be new, and we're talking about their life, their hopes, their dreams. We may also be talking about their current home, and we're not going to remodel. We're just going to freshen it up. We're going to update. We may have had a family change. Somebody has a baby. Somebody moves out. A room is not functioning the way it was designed to, or it's not functioning properly for the family. So I can come in at a variety of different entry points. Sometimes they start with me. Sometimes we start with an architect. Sometimes we just start with a room and what can we do with it.
So, and let's talk about that you come in and you all of a sudden discovered, what they want. I need to have an architect. Is that when you would call Greg up and say, we need to get with an architect because what you want is
exactly
well beyond the
how
scope
complicated
of what I would do.
is it? Oh yeah, absolutely.
Especially
if we're moving wall,
yeah,
absolutely,
things like that.
Absolutely.
So talk to me about your consultation with people, and I'm always curious how people would address. And again, it's often, especially if you're in the house and doing things.
Mm-hmm.
It's especially stressful. If anyone has ever lived in a house while it's going through a remodel, it's not fun.
It is. We have a little handout that we like to give to our clients. We have a little starter package, a little welcome package, and it's kind of a tongue-in-cheek how to live through a renovation.
Aspirin and tequila. Huh?
Yeah, well, yeah. Then we send the wine basket over, and then the prescription drug forms.
I like her.
And, But it can be, and it's hard. And I tell, particularly with moving, no matter how fantastic the new home is, moving is no picnic. It is no picnic. And we will help you. We will make it. And actually, if we do get involved with our clients' moves, we do try to make it as absolutely lovely as possible. They come home to wine is being poured and there's a CD playing. But that's costly, and that does not work for everyone. So the transition, the renovation, even some of the minor remodeling or redecorating, it can be stressful. Things are messy, noisy, dusty.
One of the first hurdles removed in my buying a new home was I said I'm never moving if I have to pack anything.
Right.
And one of the moving companies we had, I'm like, oh, we have a service for that. We'll pack everything up and haul. I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
And then we'll have an organizer.
I thought that was crazy.
I'll be there with my team, and we will place all the pieces. The rug guys will roll out the rugs. The drapery installers will put up the draperies.
See,
and then we have organizers.
That is how I am moving
and
right there. I am not touching.
You heard it here, Kim.
Yes.
He's got it all planned now.
Oh, Kim's going to love it. This is the best way to move.
I'm seriously, I hate
moving. It's the best way to move.
They'll take care of you, Joe. She says she'll
Stab
set
me
you
in the
up. You'll have wine and cheese.
Yeah, you come home.
I'm down with that.
Yeah.
I'm ready to move tomorrow now.
That's right.
I'm just
Paper
gonna work on the pay
towels,
for it part.
everything you want. Yeah, well, it's not an inexpensive way to move, but it's a lovely way to move.
I would rather be stabbed in the eye with an ice pick than have to move and do it myself. So that's how excited I am about the process.
Well, when they talk about real estate agents, they tell real estate agents you should move every 4 to 5 years just so you can remember what the experience is like for your clients because it's tough.
People have short memories though. Then you're in that lovely new home, and you're very, very happy.
Yeah.
So,
So, would you be involved with the process? Like they come to to Greg, and then Janine, would you be involved with the process in the beginning also? Or
A lot of times, yes. And a lot of times it's because it's an existing client and we're talking about the next stage in life. What are they going to do next? So sometimes I look at plans with them. Sometimes we just talk. And sometimes then we're in the home and we're actually going to work on that home.
We talked about this a lot before the show, and it's a theme that comes up on our show quite a bit. We have a recurring show that we call What You Don't Know Can Hurt You. And in the design process, I would imagine that there's a lot of times where the client sits down and they have an idea of what they want, and as the designer, you're going, yeah, but that's not going to be great for you at all.
Well, and we do. We talk about that. I had a client yesterday in the Woodlands. They have a very, very small master bathroom, and they want to put a wine refrigerator and a coffee station in it. I love that idea. Love that idea.
I would never leave the bathroom.
And if they're listening, they know
coffee.
I
wine.
love them.
That's
but
brilliant.
it's a small house. And I said, okay, it's only about 10 steps to the kitchen. Is it really worth the real estate to give up desperately needed cabinets for the beverage station? She explained to me their children who have children, their adult children, return and visit a lot. And as a couple, sometimes they want to go into their bedroom. They want to have the glass of wine or the cup of coffee before the morning starts without necessarily being in the hub of Child Central.
Makes perfect
but
sense.
But that
to me.
was an example
idea.
of
I know, not bad, right?
does it earn its keep? Giving up that space.
Now, we actually had a question come in on our Facebook page, which was we have an artist that works for my company, Berkshire Hathaway Anderson Properties, Iris Fragrasso, and she's quite a talented artist. Is that something you would do, is go out and pick out art?
Yes, because when people are building these big houses, they have big walls. Some clients are wonderful collectors. They have a lot of art, but often people need more art. And I'd say the average client does not, when they build, often still we're building a bigger home when we're building at this level of custom. And they have big walls. People like very big, large, expansive entry areas and deciding where to put the art and having art to scale. Kind of like Greg's to scale. One of the biggest things is people are intimidated by buying art and they're worried about the cost. They tend to buy a lot of little things that never looks as impressive or gives the real impact that you're looking for.
Less is more.
Larger, better pieces. And it's, in the end, it's often the same amount of money. A bunch of little things or one really great big one.
Yes.
Go for the really nice piece. And working with an artist is a fantastic opportunity. Clients really, really enjoy that because then the art becomes more personal.
I'm incredibly spoiled by this because my wife is an artist and even teaches art to our kids at our kids' school. So she understands the flow of color and all that sort of thing.
And proportion and balance.
Proportion and balance and all that sort of thing. So, I get to witness what just a good picture and that type of thing can do for a wall. And through that, because that's not me at all. I'm a marketing guy. I understand color and all this sort of thing. But picking out art, I know it when I see it. I'm like, yes, I like that. That looks good. So once it's there, I can make my call. But picking out and then bring it to stick on the wall, no way, not me at all.
Boy, building this house and decorating it for Kim is going to be the best thing ever. I mean, I am excited about this relationship.
We're all going to get together. It's a big party we're having.
It is.
We've got all y'all involved here. Kim, we've brought together the perfect team for you.
There's nothing better. I have another client whose mother's an artist, and that's fantastic to have in-house artists.
Yeah.
Great.
And it's amazing because I have an in-house artist. His name is Andrew, 4 years old.
Is he? Yeah, young.
Yeah, and I have to tell him everything looks really pretty when he draws on the wall, but we're going to have to unfortunately remove it a little bit because Mommy doesn't like it there. So, it's important to, as you mentioned, hire the right one.
Well, and two solutions for that. One is we pick out one or two really fantastic pieces and we frame them. And the child is so excited and the family's excited. We make them look fantastic. The other is there's a very cool frame that you can pop out and add to it. I think it'll hold up to about 18 small pieces of art, 18 or 8.5 by 11 letter or legal size sort of sheets. Yeah. So you can just add to it or let them rotate.
I like that.
Before we get to, we got a 2-minute warning here, and it's not like the Super Bowl where you actually you can stretch it out over 10 commercials.
Mike was just saying peace.
I'd like to know about like the trends. What are you seeing that people come and said, I've got to have this? What type of things are you seeing?
I think that we are enjoying lighter colors in paint, a lot of neutrals. Gray is very, very popular. It started to be very hot, I'd say, in about 2011 in Houston. Now you can get everything in gray. It used to be your paint and your surfaces. Now you can get rugs and draperies and everything. Gray is still popular. Levels of neutral are still popular, but overall lighter colors. So
You see
light
any
blue,
faux
greens.
paint requests, things like that? or is that
Frankly,
fading out?
only in the very highest end homes do we do faux paint. However, wallpaper has come back with a vengeance.
And some of it looks like faux paint.
Today's wallpaper is a fantastic product.
Wow.
Another thing that's done really well is our window treatment options are great. We have technology, we have energy control, light control. Window treatments are really fantastic.
Is that I'm always, I'm the guy that would be arguing money.
We don't
and
need
my
them.
wife is and my wife is like, money. What?
You're
money?
a big radio star now. You should be
Yeah,
able to do that.
I know.
Yes.
You're a celebrity.
Yeah, you're a celebrity. Don't you realize what the real estate
guys
Rat
are
Pack
rich.
page is?
You're
Yes,
rich.
yes. What am I thinking? The big bucks we are knocking
Big
down with this
bucks
show.
between you and Rob. I mean, you guys take up a massive amount of the budget right there. You should be able to get anything you want to.
Yeah, well, I have my hair expenses, so as they all look
They're
at me. What?
being put to good use.
We
They're
are
working
coming
well.
up against a break. How can we reach you if you don't mind?
Pamela O'Brien with Pamela Hope Designs, website Pamela Hope Designs, and 281-794-4830.
We have one more section, one more segment in the show. It's going to be open mic. We're going to be talking about a lot of different things. But stay tuned. We're going on break. We'll be right back.
Hold me tight. Fever.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Rat Pack Radio Show with Chris, Joe, and Rob. The crew is taking your calls, so dial in at 1-800-808-5548.
And welcome back to the Real Estate Rat Pack Show. Time flies when you're having fun, and always during the break, it seems like we have so much conversation
Off-air
going on.
conversation.
We have said this before. We need to do a show called Between the Break.
Yes.
Well, what we do is get one sponsor to pay for everything. Then we just have one commercial at the beginning, and then forget the rest.
That is correct. That's not a bad idea right there. Done deal.
So
right?
who's good?
Oscar
So
said he's got it. I just saw the nod. He's on it.
Both Jason and Oscar are like, yeah, great.
So we have another guest for our final segment of the show here. Oscar, man, tell us, introduce yourself.
Yeah, Oscar Hernandez, run a small team, Oscar Fine Properties at Keller Williams. Been in business for, I guess, about 11 years now and really enjoying it.
We are this year so far has been the year of multiple guests on the show.
Yeah, it has.
Oscar is actually a prior guest
Yes.
on the show as well.
Two-Timers
So
Club.
you're part of the Two-Timers Club.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys welcoming me back.
I
It's
mean,
good
that's
to be
only
back.
there's only probably like 5-6 people, maybe.
Not even that many.
Not even that many.
I think
have been
maybe.
in-
I think 3 I can think of.
Right, that
Yeah.
is correct.
Last week, Danny, Gary,
Michelle Hatmaker.
Michelle, and now
4.
Oscar.
So it's 4.
Yep, 4.
There we go.
Yeah,
Awesome.
you're, an
You're
elite-
one of
elite
4.
crowd. Wow.
And
Put
and
that on
Oscar,
your card.
One of the things we talk about a lot, obviously you've heard about everything
Two-Timers
going on
Club.
here today in regards to new home builds, in regards to architects, in regards to interior designs. How's the market out there? What's going on with the market?
The market has been extremely hot since early last year. 2013 was a very strong year. We had 30 consecutive months of home price or home sale increases. So it's been a really great year. I think the market has been a little bit out of whack in terms of not having enough inventory, but we are seeing more and more people list their homes. So hopefully we can get more balance in 2014 and keep growing.
I have a
that's
question
one
for
of
Oscar right off the bat because it's selfishly motivated. But since y'all have been throwing me under the bus the entire show about about the house,
It's our job. Somebody's
Right.
got to do it.
and it's the theme of the show.
Kim pays us well.
Yeah, and I promise my wife's paying attention now. So we say the wife and I say we want to buy a new house, right? And we begin this process, and we say, well, hey, I know Oscar. Let's give him a call and talk to him. And we come to you and say, Oscar, our budget's kind of around $300,000, right? At what point do you say you're looking at a resale home, a production build home, or a custom build home?
Yeah. I think really it starts with doing a need analysis, sitting down with you, finding out kind of like what the other guests have talked about, what's your lifestyle and how long you plan to be in the home. The other thing is we take an approach with every client that, that property's maybe one of their biggest purchases, so it's kind of an investment for them. So we sit down, we go through that needs analysis with you, and we kind of evaluate what's going to fit best for you. Also, sometimes you're bound by geographic location, what your options are within a certain budget. So the new construction route may not be available just because land prices are so much, but perhaps getting a 1950s ranch and working with the interior designer to put your personal taste into it, is an option. So.
Do you find that there's a point or a key, I don't know, something that you hear that says, hey, these guys would be more satisfied, or the custom build is the route for them?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, if someone has very busy lifestyles, they don't have the time to work with an architect and builder and really be hands-on. Sometimes, that may not be the route for them. Maybe finding a finished product that's more move-in ready. That could be an option for them. So we kind of listen for those different cues, I guess.
Gotcha. But there's all kind of like little subtle cues going on
Absolutely.
here. I don't know what's happening.
None of us have our headphones on, so it's sort of we were looking at it going, who is this? But we actually have a caller on air right now.
If it's my wife, hang up.
How you doing this morning?
Caller, are you there?
It is Liam.
Liam, how you doing, buddy?
I am doing amazing. I've been listening to the show all day, and listening to Oscar there right now. Oscar is one of my clients for my business, and I just want to talk about a top-notch realtor. He actually is.
Well,
and what a joy to work with from my perspective, as since I work with him on so many things.
Well, Liam, for the audience's sake, this is the gentleman we spoke of earlier in the show, who we are having the garage sale for, and obviously, Liam, we are so upset and bothered by what happened. We want to do everything we can to help, and we hope our audience will participate in that. And to give your company a shameless plug, Speedy Post, you were mentioning that Oscar is one of your clients, and you all work together. Let me tell you guys out there in the real estate community, if you are a realtor and you are yet to start working with Liam, you are way behind the curve of excellence. Liam, real briefly, just give us a shameless plug for your company.
Oh, okay, shameless plug time. Excellent.
Freebie.
Oscar, when he ever has a listing, he goes ahead and gives us a call. We take his signs, and we go out to his client's home. We put the sign at the ground. It's a big 4x4 post. It's 6 foot tall. It really highlights his client's listing, and it saves him the time. It saves his people the time of going out and doing it themselves. And then we go back out and pick it up when he sells the home, and without a doubt, that's usually really quick for Oscar.
Outstanding.
And let me tell you, the look of the home with a Speedy Post sign on it is completely different than a home with just a stake, than just a regular, traditional sign, that yard signs they do. It absolutely adds look, feel, class, style. It makes it look like the agent took additional resources and additional time to be able to put that in there.
Builders should take note also.
Yes, for a very, very minimal cost. It is absolutely incredible.
I said for the real estate community, and I need to correct that. For our listening audience, if you are selling your home, if it is currently on the market and your realtor has one of those cheesy little metal signs out there, you need to give them a call and say, hey, I actually want a real sign for selling my property, and I think you need to call Speedy Post and get on the ball here, Mr. Realtor.
Absolutely, and if they do call me like that, the realtor calls me, I'll get out to the house, I'll trade that sign out for them, even if they're not a client yet. We'll get them on board with it. And that's so, I appreciate a shout-out for that, guys, and giving a chance for that.
You bet. I know that's not why you called. You were calling to give Oscar a plug, but you do a great job.
Also, I want to say how humbled and thankful I am to have friends like you guys who have done so much in this time of need for me, because it is a rough time for me. And you all at the Real Estate Rat Pack and all of my clients have it's humbling how great it is to see you all just step up to help me. Thank you so much.
Well, we are glad to do it, and I don't say this with any bit of shyness at all. You for me are everything that America's about. You are trying to build a business, employ people, strengthen our local community, and you didn't initiate this. You didn't ask for a handout. We found out about it, and we started promoting it and doing this. It was not any bit on your initiative that this was taking place, and I admire what you do, and I've always believed in your company, and wish you the greatest of success. So we're happy to do it for you.
Well, thank you so much. I'm going to let you get back to everything. God bless you guys. God bless you.
Likewise, Liam. Thanks a lot for calling in, bud.
Thank you.
I appreciate those kind words from Liam. His service is essential to our business. The time saving, obviously, a much higher, I guess, visual branding that
Absolutely.
it brings to my business. So
It
certainly
presents
appreciate
the
them.
home in so much more professional of a manner. I would challenge anybody. The marketing guy notices these kind of things. You Google home for sale on the internet and just look at pictures and see if you find houses with a little metal frame sign out. They don't. They always, when you find those stock image photos of houses for sale, they always have that big, beautiful sign out in front. Why? Because it's a better presentation, period.
Well, not only presentation, but when you drive down, I mean, let me tell you, the one thing his signs do, they elevate the signs.
Absolutely.
So you can see them from far away. And so you don't have to worry about, I mean, how often are you in the car with somebody, Oscar, and you're trying to show a home, and you're driving down the street, and a lot of times you got the address, but it helps to have a nicely marked sign because that's one of the things that's on there is who it's listed by, where it's going. Let me tell you, you can see those signs as soon as you turn on any street. And it's elevated. It's in the air.
6
you
feet
can put
high.
6 feet high. You can put riders on it.
And let me tell you
this
this,
really
too,
nice.
Chris, that it's no coincidence. This is a testimony to, again, we always talk about work with experts, right? And it's no coincidence that one of our two-time guests, who is a rare group here, just happens to use Liam services. What a coincidence that he's using the superior sign.
A great segue back, because I know sometimes that the realtor is the first point of contact to the other services we've talked about today, the architect, the builder, and the designer. Do you have a group of people that you feel comfortable with, like that might be here in the studio that you
this exact team completely. I was thinking, as everyone else was speaking earlier, that you've got from start to finish here a great team, to build your home. So,
and we are coming up against the last few moments. So one of the things we're going to do is our lightning round, which we love to do. Go around and give every guest an opportunity, 30 seconds or less, what you want them to leave knowing about this show going forward. I will let you go first.
Everybody's panicking. Me?
What do I want them to know? Well, great architecture doesn't have to be expensive. It just has to be smart. It has to be intentional. It needs to fit you and what your vision is. I think if you're going to live in a home for more than 5 years, I'd be less concerned about what the neighbors think and what resale value is, and more what fits your lifestyle.
Gabriel Holmes.
I think it's important to bring the builder on early as part of your team. Let the builder help carry you. Let us help carry you through the process and help you meet your expectations so that we can build the vision as you see it.
Pamela, I was going in order that we had them on. Pamela Hope.
Okay, well, great design doesn't happen overnight. It's really not supposed to, but it not only is beautiful, it adds to the comfort and function of your home. So buy with thought and design your home, decorate your home over time the way you really need it to be.
And
Oscar.
Land is very scarce right now, so if you don't have your own lot to build on, working with a realtor who can try to find properties off market is probably very important right now, and help you with the valuation of the final construction.
Joe, anything you want to add?
Work with experts. I mean, I say that like I don't know how many shows, but work with experts. It's so critical.
It's a collaborative process. Get the best team together and let a team that can work together to do this process.
And if you want to find an expert, go to realestateratpack.com.
And so Kim will get you the phone numbers of all these people here so you can work with them.
And I always tell everybody what I want to leave you with is there's a saying I heard the other day. It said, whether you can or you can't, you're right. Yes. It's in your hands. Remember that. Until next week, we will talk to you soon.
And you've been listening to the Real Estate Rat Pack. The question is, who's Frank, who's Sammy, who's Dean, and who's the other guy?
Chris is
Frank.
Frank, he's Dean, and I'm Sammy.
Yes, he's Dean. That's right. Yeah.
So tune in to the really big show every Saturday at 9 a.m. right here on 100.7 The Word, KKHT.